I always give as an example the 26/11 incident in Bombay, the terrorist attack on the Taj. What made those employees risk their lives in some cases to shelter the people who were dining at the Taj or the people who were staying at the Taj? There was no manual, there was no instruction, there was no training. What happened? And how did individuals? It was the spirit of the organization that made that happen. There was no message that went out. People thought of what to do to switch off lights in a restaurant to make everybody lie down, keep quiet, move them out through the kitchen. What made that happen? I can't say that I did anything or that the management did anything. It happened. And to not recognize that terrific spirit that took place, that was embodied in individuals, some of them lost their lives in doing so, I think it gives an impression of what can take place. I had the fortune or misfortune of being in Jamshedpur as a very young person when there was a communal riot that took place. It, in 3 days, killed about 400 or 500 people. And it all started by somebody running around the plant saying, "Oh, come and see the trains that are coming from Kashmir. The people have been disfigured," etc. By the evening, the first stabbing took place. By the end of 2 days, the army had to be called in. I don't know how many crane operators I took out of the plant in the trunk of my car because there were people waiting for them down when they came down off their shift to kill them. And a horrible thing took place in 4 days. Was that a negative spirit? I think it was incited by, again, the spark, the wrong kind of spark being ignited, and the community responding to that wrong spark. So there are two different examples of how spirit overtakes a situation when it happens. So, listening to myself speaking just now, I'm saying that the importance is the spark that you create. As you're aware, we created a trust to deal with all the victims, whether they were from the Taj or not. And we have used that fund to not to rebuild ourselves, but to try to rebuild the lives of, so that we paid their hospital bills. We have some are really touching cases, because I remember I used to go in the evenings to Bombay Hospital where many of these victims were recovering. I distinctly remember one of them was a lady in a coma who had lost her entire family. When she came out of the coma, which was several months later, she realized that she didn't have a family any longer. And no one was there to pay her hospital bill. We paid it out of this trust. And there are many cases like that. And I'm somewhat pained to say that as citizens, we just walked away from that situation. The event was over. We walked away. There were hundreds of people that were killed at the railway station that we have tried to help with. Where their cases have come up. There was a policeman who was in the hospital who was shot because he didn't have a weapon that could match that of the terrorists. So all these things Someone should sit together and talk about what would happen if, God forbid, such a thing happened again. And I'm afraid the blunt answer is that we're still not prepared. Being prepared is one thing. Do we have compassion? Lighting candles in front of the gateway of India as citizens is symbolic. Have we shared in the anguish that a few people have had, that the people that were really suffered? And I don't think we've displayed that kind of compassion.